So the topic this morning, and I love this topic because lots of individuals, when in my real life, and I throw up air quotes, in my real life, not a lot of people can grasp my past, my current, and my at least assumed and anticipated future. Not a lot of individuals can grasp how I can do it. Not a lot of individuals can grasp how many in a relationship can do it. So the topic today is compersion, and how compersion is not pretending to be happy. It's not pretending to enjoy a thing, an experience, but it's a trained response. So first, as we get started, let's 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 explain what compersion is. What is compersion? And anyone who's watching or listening, feel free to join in the chat. What is compersion as it pertains to non-monogamy, to swinging, to being in an open relationship, to hot wifing? What is compersion? Now, some of you, if you've been following me for long enough, if you know me personally, if you've gone to my Instagram account, which I'm in the process of revamping, but some of you, you've read the definition of compersion. Now, I could sit here and I could give you a a definition just based off of my life, my living, and my experiencing compersion. But for the sake of consistency, I'm going to go to my Instagram account, and I'm going to read it to you verbatim as I have it defined. Compersion is a term used in the context of ethical non-monogamy to describe the positive feeling of joy, happiness, or pleasure that someone experiences when their partner engages in a romantic or sexual activities with another person. It's the opposite of jealousy and instead represents a sense of complicity and delight in their partner's connection and experiences with others. So let's just continue to dig a little bit deeper into that. So, in ethical non-monogamous relationships, or you can just call it non-monogamous relationships, consensually non-monogamous, but in ethical non-monogamous relationships, such as polyamory, open relationships, partners consent. They consent to and they support one another having multiple romantic or sexual relationships. Now, it's different from one person to the next. Not everyone operates the same. Not everyone can handle their partner being sexually active with someone else. Not everyone can handle their partner being romantically connected to someone else, spiritually connected, intellectually connected. You think about some people in traditional relationships that will tell you that liking someone else's the opposite gender, liking their provocative photo on social media is cheating. Like that's cheating in some people's eyes, and it's grounds for breaking up with an individual. Liking someone else's photo, and then this is traditional life. You can go back and listen to my live video from Wednesday to hear some of what I had to say regarding traditional relationships and the escalator that society has designed to make us feel we all have to ride. Anyways, some people will look at you liking and or commenting on a provocative image of someone of the opposite gender. They will look at that as cheating and it will be grounds for a breakup. Whereas on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, compersion would say like that is just the tip of the iceberg. when you see your partner like or comment on someone else's photo, and based off of their comment, if it is a comment, or based off of what you know about your partner, if it's only a like, you know it evoked something inside your partner. You know it woke something up inside them. You know it did something for them, for the good inside them. And that brings you joy. That brings you happiness because you see that part of them shining. It's compersion. So it plays a significant role in fostering healthy. Now remember, in non-monogamous relationship, compersion plays a significant role in fostering healthy and secure relationships. It involves empathetic and supportive emotions towards your partner's connections. So many people fall into bouts of jealousy as it pertains to, their partner having attraction for, communicating with, showing attention towards individuals of opposite gender. Like multiple people really, they cannot handle that. But then individuals who are practicing under, who train themselves to see or operate under compersion, they're the opposite. So it's a very important aspect that differentiates non-monogamy from any of your traditional monogamous relationships. So I want us to sit in that for a while, and I want us to evaluate, like play that inside your mind. And I'll give you another story, probably a few stories before we finish. But I want you to evaluate that for yourself. For those of you who are following me typically, or I would assume that you have a current relationship that ties into non-monogamy, or you're interested in it. So I want you to sit with that and ask yourself, how would you operate under a variety of different circumstances where your partner is showing affection, be it romantic and or sexual, desires, romantic and or sexual, intellectual, spiritual, desires to connect with someone else. And it's so deep because it crosses so many different frontiers, so many different planes. Oftentimes we can find ourselves falling into jealousy because something happened that we didn't consider. But if we communicated properly, understood compersion, and really had that deep desire for uninhibited satisfaction, pleasure, and joy, not only for ourselves but for our partner as well, then compersion comes into play, and we don't allow ourselves to prevent our partner or to make our partner feel as if he or she has to hold back whenever there is something that pulls their attention in one direction or another. Now, there's a few different ways to look at this as well. Excuse me. There's a few different ways to look at this. Now, we have the non-monogamous relationships where both partners are are fully open to go explore, enjoy other individuals. But then we also have the one-sided non-monogamous relationships. We have those where it's half open, and typically, at least publicly facing, the types that you see are the ones where there's a primary partner. So there's a man and a woman, and typically the third that enters the equation is another woman. And usually The woman of the relationship, the primary partner, she's the one that brings the other women to the table. And there's beautiful bliss, joy, happiness, and the experience of her seeing her husband being pleasured by another woman, and also him seeing his wife or his girlfriend, fiance, whatever be it. There's immense joy and pleasure in him seeing the two of them enjoy one another. But in many of these equations, the man cannot handle seeing his wife, seeing his woman being enjoyed by another man. That's one of the equations. Many men, when you say threesome, automatically in their brain, it goes to a man and two women. Automatically, that's what they assume. But as soon as you flip the script and you say two guys and a woman, it's, oh, hell no. And I was that man back in 2006 after having my very first threesome with my girlfriend, one of her female coworkers. And it was mentioned at the end of that threesome that that female coworker would introduce my girlfriend to her future boyfriend, and they would do a threesome together outside of my presence. And I'm like, oh, hell no. No other guy is about to fuck my woman. That was me in 2026, in 2006, 20 years ago. But we have those who are like that, which I have evolved into, that absolutely love to see my woman enjoying herself with another man. Absolutely love it. When I see that my woman is beyond, far beyond what the common woman can ever dream of when it comes to enjoying herself sexually. That brings me so much joy, happiness, excitement for her. And another thing, there's our bodies are designed a certain way. Each of us have a unique design, to our penis shape, curvature, thickness, length, different parts of our body, how we feel, how we kiss. There's different things about us as individuals. And some of these things, yes, we can change, we can alter, but there's other things that we can't change about ourselves, at least not without surgery or taking drastic measures. And and lots of opinions of those that subscribe to the non-monogamous lifestyle, and lots of our opinions, we say we do not dare to prevent our partner from experiencing variety. So it really takes a certain type of man to understand that his woman may go out and have sex with a guy that has a larger penis than him, and she may enjoy it. And it's very, the terminology that is used out of respect um, can vary. Sometimes there's no need to filter yourself to even be respectful, but there's a predetermined understanding that nothing that is said about these experiences are disrespectful, is purely expressing the happiness, the joy, and the experience. But in saying that, you will have times where an individual or a woman will have sex with a guy that has a larger penis than her husband's, and she'll come back and she'll mention it if this experience takes place outside of her primary partner's presence. She'll come back and she'll experience, or she will express it, that he was bigger than you. He touched places that you don't touch. He made me feel ways that you haven't made me feel. Now, it's not to say, and this is where the understanding and the internalized, the preset respect was placed or put in place. It's not to say that this other guy is better. Now, when you have that core, and I'm speaking in the terms of there being a core relationship intact first, a primary partner intact first. Excuse me. It doesn't necessarily mean that this secondary person that's outside of the relationship is better just because he's bigger, just because he can go deeper, just because he can make you feel differently in ways that your primary partner hasn't been able to. It's just variety. It's something different. And when you understand compersion, that husband, that primary partner, that boyfriend, he doesn't get jealous just because the guy was bigger or the guy could last longer or the guy could pick her up and flip her upside down and do all these things that maybe like you have compersion for the situation and you love it for her. And it goes both ways. I was in a and I wrote about this. If you scroll through my articles, I don't know if it was a note or a full out article, but you'll see a couple dancing and a female dancing nearby. I wrote about this. This is the other way around. Now, just before you get ahead of yourself, if you're still listening, I didn't end up having sex with this woman, but I was out at a nightclub and we're dancing as usual on the dance floor. This is with my partner that I started the non-monogamous lifestyle with back in 2006. We would always go out to the club together, and she didn't have the biggest of asses. Like, she was a little flat back there. Now, she had all the other curves, but she was a little flat on the backside. So one of the things that she loved doing was pointing out other girls that had a nice ass. So there was this one night, this girl was dancing behind me. So she saw the girl over my shoulder and she whispered in my ear to turn around and look. Like, look at her ass. You should go dance with her. And initially, I obviously we're in a non-monogamous relationship, so I wasn't completely shocked, but to a certain degree, I'm like, "What? Are you serious?" Because this was a very attractive girl, very voluptuous, and what she was wearing, it was one of those soft and silky sundress material type of dresses, but her ass was so big and juicy that while she danced, her ass would like literally eat her dress, like it would clench between her cheeks. So I did take the opportunity and I went and I danced with her. And I forget exactly what I was wearing, but I could literally feel her ass cheeks grabbing my dick through my pants as I was grinding on her from behind. And my girlfriend at the time, which she was loving every moment of it. Compersion. She was witnessing me enjoy myself with someone else sexually, and she didn't allow jealousy to shut it down. So this is a topic that we'll definitely be speaking on much more at length in the future. I'm going to have some guests on that can kind of give some pushback, that can give differing opinions. But just to kind of introduce that to a certain degree, there are dynamics to where the partner they can't take it. One partner cannot take seeing their partner enjoy themselves sexually with another. And there is the jealousy there. And some people from the outside looking in may say, well, that seems contradictory if that partner who does have the jealousy still wants to and gets to enjoy themselves with another partner. So, scenario, as I mentioned earlier, the man in the relationship is allowed to have sex with a woman outside of the relationship, and his primary partner is okay with it. But if his primary partner decides or desires to have sex with a man outside of their relationship, there's a problem with it. So she can practice compersion when it comes to him enjoying himself with another, but he hasn't gotten himself to be able to do so when it comes to her with another individual. And I alluded to that earlier, whereas that was part of my journey. I started as not being okay with it, as not being okay with my woman having sex with a guy. Hell, even flirting with a guy that wasn't me. Well, at the same time, I'm sticking my dick inside another woman. So we had to get to a point where we decided what we wanted our relationship to look like. And as we continue to, and for those of you who are looking to experience non-monogamy, and you may not be in a non-monogamous relationship right now, but you're interested in it, I would highly recommend watching pornography with your partner, watching scenes, watching pornographic scenes where non-monogamy is taking place, or you can visualize it being non-monogamy. You can visualize two of the individuals being a couple and the third person being someone that they welcomed in. Because before I watched enough with my partner at that time, I was completely against bringing a second guy into the equation. But we're watching, and for those of you who are unacquainted, MFM, man, female, or male, female, male, that means, two heterosexual males, typically heterosexual males, with one female. So we're watching MFM porn, and I was seeing how this woman was just really enjoying herself with two different men. And my girlfriend at the time, I could tell in her reactions to that porn that she was really into it. And she said that she wants to try that someday. And I'm thinking to myself, hell no, like, no, selfishly, after she'd already let me sleep with her female coworker. I'm thinking to myself, no, but the more I watched it, the more I see the pleasure that this woman. Now, obviously, this is porn, so oftentimes they're putting on an act. But I'm visualizing two of these individuals being a couple, and the third man being some guy that this woman had attraction for, and the other man decided, you know what, I want you to enjoy that. So part of me just locked in and said, you know what, if the opportunity presents itself, I'm open to it. Part of me said that, and another part of me was still apprehensive. But ultimately, that's part of the evolution as a non monogamous partnership, as a non monogamous individual, is evolution. Understanding, and I've written about this, that you can be fully non monogamous one day to where both of you love, embrace, and don't mind seeing one another with other individuals. You can go to where one of you can take it, one of you wants to take it, and the other doesn't. You can go to where both of you have a true, strong desire to be fully monogamous with one another. But then you flow back into a different stage of it at a different day. But it's all about the communication between you and your significant other. So I'll speak more on this in the future. And I definitely hope to get some feedback, to get some comments for some of those of you who have either experienced one aspect or another of this sort of connection experience around compersion, or just purely thinking that compersion is crazy. Don't hesitate to give feedback. Off with that note, that's our time for this morning. I appreciate everyone who took the time to listen, and I look forward to coming to you again. Much love. You all have a wonderful weekend.